So we're gonna be making these beautiful fraction flower collages. You're gonna need a bunch of supplies, so get yourself ready with your scissors and glue sticks and pencils, and then we're gonna get started. You are probably working with your group and creating all of these shapes using your fraction circles like halves and fourths and 1/8, and discovering all of the different ways that you can make a whole. For example, you did a half and a half, or maybe you did a half and a fourth, or a half and a fourth and 1/8, which is 2/8. There are so many ways to make a whole, and there are so many ways for you to make fraction flowers, and that's what we're going to be doing. So move these to the side. You are gonna need your scissors, you're gonna need your glue, and you are going to need a piece of construction paper, just like that, and the color construction paper that came in your kit. So you're gonna need all of this stuff to make your project. The first part of this project is gonna be to create the background for your design. And when I look at this, I picked the yellow piece, but I noticed that it's kind of half of the whole picture. And I know from doing my circles that a half folded in half, you did this with circles, even with rectangles, it's the same way. I can now cut this and it will be a fourth of the size of the page. And I will just cut that. And now this can be my background. It's kind of like the floor if you picture it that way. So I'm gonna just start by gluing that down so that my fraction flowers aren't floating around in space. So I'm gonna glue this just like that onto the bottom of my paper. That you can picture as a table or the ground. Now I'm going to design my vase, and I have two colors. You can choose whatever color you want. I think for mine, actually, let's see, red or blue. I think I'm gonna do red. And to make a vase, I actually can make a perfectly symmetrical vase. It's the same on both sides. If you fold your paper down the middle, like this, and then you'll see when you open it up that you have two halves. See, two halves? I'm gonna keep it folded and I'm gonna draw my vase design. You could make a round vase or a square vase or a squiggly vase. I'm gonna make a vase where my top is gonna go like this. Then I'm gonna go down and make a big circle all the way to the bottom. And you just cut along here and you'll see that when I open it, it'll make a perfectly symmetrical vase. Let's see. Yep, there's my vase. I actually think it looks like a pretty big vase. I'm gonna cut the bottom off too. There we go. That looks good. Now, how am I gonna make these fraction flowers? Well, you have all these pieces. You have halves and eighths and fourths. You have so many different shapes. You're going to be layering these to design your pattern. So let's see here. You could make a flower by taking a big piece, like a half, and a fourth in the middle maybe. That would look nice. And 2 1/8. Does that look like a nice flower? I think so. And maybe you'll do, this one kind of looks like a tulip. Make my two halves, and I'll put this coming out of the middle. You can make your flowers look any way you want. So you can see these look like flowers, but they're missing something, aren't they? They're missing the stems. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my green paper. You're just going to cut your paper into a strip to make the flower stem. So that's the stem for one flower. This is the stem for another flower. And here we have the stem for a third flower. I didn't glue these down yet because I want it to be layered. That way, when I lay it down, it'll look like they're really in the vase. And I want to make sure that I don't lay them too far down or too far up because you don't want it to stick out of the paper. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to decide kind of how do I want my flower to look. And I want it to be something like this. So on the back of my vase, I can glue this down, and I'll do a tall one in the middle, and then I'm going to do another shorter one right there. There we go. And then you'll see when I flip it over, there it is, looks just right. And now I can glue my vase down. And a little glue there, a glue at the top and the sides. And there we go. So now I have my vase and I have my stems, and now I can kind of decide what I want my flowers to look like. If you have extra green paper and you want to make leaves, you sure can. You can just cut out whatever shape you want for your leaf, like this. Or if you'd like to draw a leaf and then cut it out. There's lots of ways to do leaves. If you want to make a symmetrical leaf, or you want to make lots of leaves that look the same, you can do a symmetrical leaf just like we did the vase by cutting a little C shape right like that. And then you'll see we have a leaf here. I like those ones. They have a little bend in them just like real leaves do. Or you can make lots of leaves that look the same by cutting out your leaf pattern. And then when you folded the paper, you'll get two. So now I've got my leaves. I don't need to decide where those are going to go quite yet, but I have them ready for me. So you got your leaves, you've got your stems, and now we're gonna do your flowers. You can make whatever kind of flower you want. I may not even wanna do them the way that I thought about it in the first place, but what you do wanna do is you wanna make sure that the part you wrote on, where you wrote 1/2, is the part that gets glue on it, so that your flower just looks like that without the writing on it. And then, again, you'll want to cover that up. You can make them look however you want. And then I'm going to glue on my leaves. Glue that down. And there you have your beautiful fraction flower collage.